Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody doing okay. Hope everybody's doing okay. So y'all already know who this is. This is Miss J Speaks Talk Show and Podcast with my who over here with my co-host who Janet
Janet
Brown.
Brown.
Yes, we are in here. Y'all got to excuse me because y'all probably know that we both been a little under the weather. So we're gonna
Yes.
get through this segment tonight real quick. Okay, so you saw the flyer and black, white, and more. Where do I fit in? That's the topic. That's basically biracial. And Karika said, "Hello, everyone. Thank you, Karika. Hello. Thank you
Hey,
for
Miss
coming in here. Thank
Karika.
y'all the ones that's watching. Thank y'all so much. And the one that's watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Please make sure that you follow, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you can get notified. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with giving the definition of biracial, and it is a multiracial or biracial person is someone whose parents or ancestors are from different racial backgrounds.
That's right.
Over time, many terms have been used to describe those that have a multiracial background. But that's it in a nutshell. Someone whose parents or ancestors are from a different racial background. That's what biracial, mixed, whichever word you want to call it, means. What you got to add, Miss Janet?
Yeah, because and it's a beautiful thing now. It used to be a thing that, it was like if you had a different nationality, that's the racial background than the other person, then, especially if it was mixed with black, it was a troubling situation. But now it's so norm now that the whole world is like beige, okay? But the topic is based on where do I fit in? And the reason why I thought it was such a wonderful topic for us because I have a very interracial family. And it just seems like at times things get confusing because it's either they sway to the left or they have to sway to the right. Which side am I and where do I fit in either side? Am I black or am I white? What if you look at society today, if you got an ounce of black in you, you're considered as black. So whether you mix with Asian, Caucasian, you know, uh, Latino, you're considered as black. If you
Mhm.
look at applications where you fill out an application, it doesn't really, it doesn't give you much to go on. So when this bi biracial person goes to have to choose, which are they going to choose? Are they going to choose white or are they going to choose black?
That's right.
They sway with they hang out with the black part of the family. You're black. I don't care what you say, you're black. If they hang out with the white, you're white. So where do I fit in? We got to understand that people that are in that situation, it's kind of hard from our perspective because if you look at us, we're black. And
Exactly.
yes, in the realistic part, if you look at it and you do the origin of every person on the earth, we're all biracial. But see, they don't look at the really the origin of where we all come from because we came from two human pair, and that's where we really are. But in the society that we live in today, that's not where it is. So it's a tugging thing that goes on in the mind of biracial people. I did some research on it, and I came up with this wonderful young lady that shared her story on YouTube, and it was so phenomenal. I asked Miss J, can she share it with you all? It's an 18-minute video, but I'm telling you, it's very heart touching. I have a
Yes, it
little
is.
granddaughter here that's biracial, and she was colored in her color book today. I wanted to share this with you too, Miss J.
Okay. Mhm.
Before we came on, I was going to share it with you. And she was colored, and then she got the color. I said, well, what color you going to color the face of the lady? And she said, I'm going to color this one right here. And it was a crayon that was basically like almost white. It was so beige. I said, well, why don't you color the lady's face with brown crayon, like your mom and I. She
Wow.
said, no, but I like this one better. Well,
Oh,
this young lady on this YouTube hit it and hammered right on the head. She said, though that she was biracial, she seen what families were going through, what they had to go through. As growing up as a biracial child, she didn't want to be black. I want to share y'all with also, Miss
excuse me.
J, you okay?
I'll remove myself right quick. Hold on.
Okay. I also want to share with you all, there's a wonderful book by Sarah Valentine, and it's called When I Was White. This book, I've been reading this book, and the reason why I read it because I want to help my grandchildren. I have several grandchildren that are, in biracial marriages and the children. Okay, and this is a wonderful book that where a lady actually shared her story. You know, about growing up. She said when I was white, but really she was biracial, but she was raised first, like she as if she was just white. So you can see how this could be very confusing in the mind, and how it could be troubling. It has its pluses, but it mostly has its negatives. Also, I was watching a movie, Queens. Queens is ran by Alex Haley, and his grandmother was actually Queen. And it told a phenomenal story about, being in a biracial situation. Even though it was time when the race, during that time, it was due to the fact of slavery. But she grew up in a house with Massa, and Master was her daddy, who was a Caucasian man. Her mother was a slave, was a black woman. But he wanted her to be in the house, okay? So she grew up thinking she was white, and she thinking she was worthy, and which she is. But during that time and era, it was not equal. So she was very confused. I suggest that all y'all go watch that on YouTube, Queens, if you have not watched it, as many episodes. And also go and you can get this off of Amazon, this book here, like I told you, When I Was White. And this is one that we will be covering on Miss J's also book club. And so
Yeah,
y'all look out for
yeah.
that and make sure that you follow that as well. Okay. So I'm gonna turn it back over to Miss J because she is going to present the video for y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy it and benefit from it.
Okay. Y'all excuse me. I apologize about that. I was trying to hold that little coughing spell down, but it had to come up. I'm sorry.
You okay, sis? You okay? At least you here.
Yes. So what I'm gonna get ready to do, I'm get ready to share the video. So let me go right here. Present screen. Chrome. There it is. There it is. Y'all see it?
There we go.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Gia, and I just wanted to have a chat with all you kids out there because I know that what we're going through is crazy and hard and difficult.
Can you bump that volume up a little bit?
It's up. I
And I
got it
know
turned
it's
up.
really emotionally
Okay.
heavy, and just as much for you as it is for me. So
I got my
I
volume turned
wanted
up
to
on my
talk
computer too.
um,
Okay.
to you because I feel like there's an experience that we're grappling with that is different than other people. So growing up, was very. I, growing up, just always had people ask, "What are you?" And as much as I tried to fit in, I always had these people reminding me of how I was different. And they would ask me, like just strangers would come up to me on the street and look at me and say, "What are you?" And it would shift between a kind of, "Ooh, you're so exotic. What are you?" and a kind of aggressive, "I can't figure out what you are, so you need to tell it to me." And what I learned over time is that I needed to figure out how I identify. And I identify as mixed. And I had a really hard time growing up because I saw all these monoethnic people and they would talk about their experiences and blah, 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 blah. But I didn't feel like I saw people who looked like me and identified like me. The one exception being Tiger Woods. And I remember him growing up, he would say, I'm not one thing. If I were to say I'm Black, it means that I'm denying my mother. And, it's important to me to honor all of who I am. And especially for those of us who are raised predominantly by the side of our family that isn't Black, I think there's this extra kind of challenge, because it's like I grew up in this world, in this loving family with these amazing people, and they are a huge part of who I am. And most of how I identify, most of my cultural practices, most of what I'm used to, like that's me. And so for you to tell me that I'm this other thing, like it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't feel right. So I've spent my whole life asserting the ways and making sure people knew that I'm not Black, I'm mixed. And I would do things, I still do, like I straighten my hair sometimes and I would notice the difference in the way I was treated, having more ethnic ambiguity versus being perceived to be belonging to a certain ethnic group. And I would really challenge people who would put me in a box because I never belonged. And I feel like that's part of the identity of mixedness, is that you don't feel often like you belong. Like I didn't belong amongst my white friends. And when I would interact with Black kids at school, like they would a lot of times be so mean to me. And I didn't feel like I fitted anywhere. And I feel like that's the classic mixed kid experience, is feeling like you don't belong. And that's why I've always pushed so hard for this like identity, our own identity, that is what mixed is, but that's what feels good to me. However, I've been thinking about that, like since what happened with George Floyd and since what's happening around the world, there's always been this internal something, and it's coming out now. And I've had like, and I don't know if you've had this, but I've had friends reach out to me and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. And what I've realized is that no matter how much I've asserted myself as being mixed, so many of them have always thought of me as Black. And it's been really hard for me to think about that and what that means, because I've never felt Black. And I've been doing a lot of research into things like white fragility and just around race and protesting and things. And I've been noticing the more I've been doing that, the more people have been tagging me like, oh, Black photographer, oh, I hire this Black photographer. And it just doesn't feel like me. It doesn't feel like who I am, and it hurts me. So I've been thinking a lot about why it hurts me. And it's hurt me because I've always this whole time felt like I would be dishonoring, I would be negating like this whole huge part of my family. But I've also realized something, that I've grown up in this culture, and I'm in the United States, but I believe it's the same no matter where you are in the world. I've grown up in a culture where we live, breathe, eat, sleep racist ideology. And I've been infected by the poison of racism, just like everybody else. And while there is a part of me that does believe in having an identity as a mixed person, I'm also now accepting that part of that was to distance myself from Blackness, because I grew up in a culture that tells me that Blackness is wrong and it's shameful and it's not as good. And of course that's not true. And it's not my fault that I grew up in a culture that told me these things. but it's been impacting my behavior. And I've had to realize that I have racism that lives in me, just like everyone else. And this is one of the ways it's been coming out. And I've always thought about, people who have said, yeah, you're Black, you need to own it, you're Black. And I've always thought about where that comes from. And it comes from this one drop rule, right? Which was meant to have an excuse to torture more people. Because as people started mixing, they either became closer to whiteness, or they became people that you had the right lawfully to control. And I remember watching a little bit of Roots growing up, and just traumatized me. And ever since then, I've just avoided understanding that history because it just felt too scary to look at. Because the truth is, me, probably you, my cousins who have white skin, straight hair, and green eyes, because we share ancestors who are Black, we would have been tortured just like everybody else. And that's a really hard thing to realize when you grow up in a culture that has taught you subconsciously that because you're closer to whiteness, you're not like that. And that's the truth. And I don't want to be racist. I don't think anybody wants to be racist. And so I think the responsibility is seeing it and owning it and trying to change it. And what I've come to learn in the last few days is that Blackness is an umbrella. And it includes experiences from people all over the world. People who've grown up in different experiences in the continent of Africa, people who have grown up in different experiences in the United States, the Afro-Latinos in Central and South America, people all over the world, indigenous peoples all over the world. Blackness is an umbrella that has room for people like us. And it's important right now. I mean, I guess it's always been important, but I'm realizing that right now it's really important to own that and to sit under that umbrella, because the more we come together and the more we support each other, the more change that can happen. And there's power in me saying, yes, I'm mixed and I'm Black. I'm Black. And I think about coming out as gay, and I didn't even feel this much with it. I just came out and I had a party for myself and I felt great. But because of the racism that I've ingested over my whole life, I have all these feelings of shame and fear around identifying as Black. And I don't feel Black. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know. And I've been having conversations, and I had a conversation with my amazing cousin Desiree, who's also mixed, but identifies as a mixed Black woman. And I said out loud for the first time, which is so embarrassing to say, but I said out loud, I don't want to be Black.
No.
And she's amazing. And she said, that's actually the Blackest thing you've ever said, because you're seeing it and owning it and starting to understand what it means. And starting to look at all the lies that we've been told about what that means. And I realized that all through my life, I've been self-sabotaging, because there was always a part of me that hated a part of me, and that was running from a part of me And I'm trying now to change that and to own that. And I really hope that one day I can do enough work where I can be proud of that part of me, that I can be proud to be Black. But today, the best I can do is to accept it, because I'm very new in this journey. And I think that's when people, when they talk about privilege of mixed kids, I think that's what they're talking about, that I could have gone 36 years without having to look at a lot of this stuff. Like, yes, it was always there, but I could bury it and survive and function in the world. And the microaggressions and things like that, they weren't obvious. And that's what they mean. Like, I've experienced a lot of privilege, and then I'm now just dealing with it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the people who have, that I've hurt unintentionally because of my own internalized racism, and I'm sorry I'm sorry because I have these ancestors that must have just been shaking their heads the whole time. But I'm doing my best and I'm trying, and I would encourage all of you mixed kids, if you can, because I understand that a year ago, if somebody had told me you're Black, I would have said, don't talk to me. You don't know me. You don't know my story. You don't get to tell me who I am. And so I get that you need to honor where you're at in your journey. But if you can, start to imagine yourself in that space under the Black umbrella. There's power in that. And there's relief in that, in stopping the fight and knowing that, like,
Okay. Hold on, y'all. Let me stop sharing.
Okay, there we are. As you can see, this was a very emotional, very serious, situation. And it's even, before I watched this, I already understood how serious it is. Like I said, I have lots of family members that are, biracial, but seeing it from this point of view, she's leaning one way, she feels like she's being prejudiced. She feels like she's doing some injustice to the other part of her family. This is really a serious topic, you guys, today. And I just thought it was important that we share with you. She created this video that she said, I made this video in hopes that it will reach people who need to see. Let me put on my better glasses because those may be cute, but they're not doing the job. Okay, there we go. And then there was light. She said, I made this video in hopes that it will reach the people who need to see it and feel seen. So feel free to share it if you feel compelled to, and know that regardless of your personal experience, sharing this message is a beautiful act of generosity that is appreciated. So if you are mixed or biracial or multiracial, this video is definitely for you. Yeah, I know there was a lot of feedback in the video, so I will leave the link so that you guys can follow and hear her story. If you can relate to that, you probably can benefit from it, because she also has some different places that you can go, and they're trying to form a group for biracial children. So it's good to have somewhere to go where people are like you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good to form women groups, where we can go there and vent and encourage and build, each other. It's good to have that. Like they got men clubs, so everybody needs somewhere to go, somebody where they can be encouraged and built up. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very important. But also I want to share something that I felt that was really, really important, that I felt that was personally important. Before, I just get out of here from me. I know Miss J has numerous of things that she want to share with you guys, but I'm always coming from a biblical point of view. I need people to understand this, that are biracial, or whatever you are, whatever race you are, God is not partial to any So we shouldn't feel compelled to say I'm black or I'm white or I'm less or I'm more because of our blood mixed together. Because in Acts 17:26, he says, and he made out of one man, and we know that was Adam, every nation of men to dwell on the entire surface of the earth. And he decreed the appointed times and set the limits of when men would dwell. So out of one man, there's many nations, meaning there's many nationalities. Many. One. So we shouldn't have this tug of war in our heads. For those that are seeing this podcast and this talk show today that are biracial, be encouraged through the scriptures. Because you don't have to tug of who you are. We're all one race, and it's called human, the human race.
Wow. That was okay, y'all. I hear some feedback, and I'm trying to figure out why I'm getting this feedback. I don't
I don't hear it
understand.
now. Do you still hear it? I don't hear it now.
Okay,
It
I
was
hear
just
it.
it was during the video, like when you blacked out your screen, it went away. And then when you brought it in, that's why I thought you were maybe on two devices.
Oh no, oh.
I don't know what happened, but it was hard to I understood when she spoke up real loud, but I didn't understand everything. But they did have the caption going across there, so
Right.
so that was good.
Okay. Only point that I want to bring out, and I was trying to find it. I was trying to find it. It was when she mentioned the monoracial. I had my notes here and I shut it down. And I wanted to give the meaning of that, but you can plainly see in that video that young lady is hurting. She is struggling. She is hurting, man. She is hurting. And I mean, she even compared it this is the worst when she had to come out. Y'all know she said she had to come out. It wasn't nothing like this, you know. But this young lady. I hope she gets some. I hope she gets some mental help because this is eating at her real bad. This is eating at her. And I in my research, I'm trying to remember my head. Yeah, she needs some. She's gonna need to talk with someone because I don't know how old she is, but however old she is, that's what she's living with. That's what she's been living with inside her for quite a while. Now, what made her decide to bring it out? I don't know. I guess it was time. I guess it
What
was
she
time.
was saying, that what made her start bringing it out was the fact that she was raised up basically by this skin tone, and her other side of the family. I want to think that her mother was was the black side of the family, and then she was catering more. She started feeling like she was being a racist, and so she because she catered more to the white side of her family because her skin was white and she was raised up in a white environment. She didn't give support, so it just started eating away at her. You know what I'm saying? And she got to the point that she said, I didn't want to be black because
Yeah,
she had the option to choose.
yeah. I caught that when she was saying that she felt like she was I guess she was raised to feel like being black was wrong and
Yeah.
my gosh, and she
Mhm.
didn't either. Did y'all catch that? If
Yeah.
y'all if you didn't, please go back and watch it again.
Please.
I'm going to share it on the Miss J Speaks page
Yeah.
because this young lady is hurting.
Yeah.
She's mixed, and it's two different things being mixed and biracial.
And
I was
she's
trying
just and it's a lot more of them hurting. She ain't the only one that's hurting going through
exactly
that.
the only one that's hurting exactly, and so
Yeah.
and I even pulled up how it affects children. I had found out how biracial children be affected, because they get bullied, they get whispered at, they get pointed at. That
Yeah, you remember she said that. She said
they,
that she was being treated so mean by the black kids when she was coming up because, and that's the way it was with Queen too. Queen
yeah,
got treated by bad by the black slaves, and they didn't even when they set the slaves free, she was trying to find places to eat, and they didn't even want to feed her because her skin was white, and she was raised up in Massa's house. You know what I'm saying? And
mhm,
so it was, it's very touching, and it's when we live in this society, you guys, we have to be careful of how we treat people because everybody's going through something.
exactly.
Everybody's going through something. That's why I said, get this book. Go on Amazon and get this book, When I Was White. This young lady here told a story. She was at the age of 17 and discovered that she was not a white girl.
Ooh,
She, all that time, she, this is too much. She said that Sarah, at the age of, no, not 17, at the age of 27, at the age of 27, Sarah Valentine discovered that she was not the white girl she had always believed herself to be. She learned the truth of her paternity. Her father was a black man. She further realized that she would now have to reckon the truth that she was, in fact, a mixed race.
oh my God.
So she began the difficult, absorbing journey of changing her identity from white to black. And so in this memoir is what she calls it. She illuminates the pain of shining out on painful family secrets,
Mhm.
discusses how she overcame depression to come to terms with this identity, and perhaps most important, asks why her entire family and community had maintained her white identity for so long. So this book is like a very interesting book. Like, look, it got her family and her on the back, and she was very serious. She put a lot into this memoir. She put a lot. And so you see that she right here, she looked like a little black girl. She
Yeah,
had little hairs, got her natural curls in it, where the rest of the family members, are very light skinned with straight hair. But she didn't know. She thought she was, you know, you are not a biracial. You
mm-mm.
are a human race. We're all biracial. If you look back at our ancestors, if we all start going to our ancestors, you ever went to ancestor.com, you'll be surprised of what you will find in yours, Angela. You wear your hair a certain way, you look like you Asian. You wear your hair another way, you look like you Indian. You got that look. Some people just got that look. You got the high cheekbones and the
Right.
eyes, and and all those different races come out in us, sometime, where we can see it, but we're all mixed. But
But it,
but the point is, where do you fit in?
exactly, that's a good thing. Where do you fit in? And
I
she's
said, why did you have to choose? Wow.
okay. That you're right. Why? But obviously, it's a thing of belonging. It's a thing of feeling belonging to something.
Look at that.
And I think that's what she's missing. That she don't feel she belong. She's on this side. She's on that side. Where do I belong at? So she is fighting. She's fighting that fight, boy. And whichever, but okay, this is what I want to know. Why can't not only her, but if somebody else that's struggling like this young lady is struggling. I feel when I first watched this, I cried when I first watched this, Janet.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did
telling you, it was like I was like that through the whole thing. And when she cried, I cried.
because
It
it was.
was just so touching. That's why I sent it to you so late in the middle of the night. It was,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This young lady is struggling.
she's struggling.
But you know
You feel
what?
her pain, huh?
It's some more struggling just like that, but don't want to come forward. You see what I'm saying? It's some more
Yeah.
struggling just like that. But this young lady is hurting. But what I don't understand, help me understand this. All right, where did she get or who did she get the information from? What started that feeling of her? If I go on and accept I'm black, that means I'm wrong. A society not going to accept me. Everything about a black person is wrong. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
When
because she mentioned it about the man that got killed. What was the young man that got killed by the police? She
George
mentioned that.
Floyd, yes.
Yeah, she mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the trigger for her. Like, wait a minute. And why am I ignoring this? It's like she felt like she had to, acknowledge it. Why? Because you have black blood in you,
You got black blood.
you know, because she started talking about Black Lives Matter and how, if you go to and look at her description under that video, she talks a lot about a lot of things. So that's why I encourage you guys to go and actually watch it. Miss J is going to post it and go and watch the entire video and then read the description of a lot of things that are very disturbing to her. This young lady, she's a human being, and she's going through so many struggles because of her different origins, are clamped together.
It's,
And the way we got to be careful as family members too. I think the responsibility really lies on the family members. When I gave my daughter's wedding, I gave it here at the house, and her husband is Hispanic. Calliope is Hispanic, and she's black.
uh-huh.
And my niece came. She said, one thing about you, Auntie Jan, you always cater to your company. I said, why do you say that? She said, because half of the meal is soul, and the other half is Hispanic. I made the Mexican cornbread and all the other good, delicious stuff that I know because I took the time to see, what do you like to eat? What are your favorite foods?
Right,
With my
right.
son-in-law. And so I knew what his family. What do your mom like? Because all of them, they filled this house. The house was beautiful too, gorgeous. My sister-in-law in Dallas, she came down and decorated it, and we mixed everything, and that made my daughter feel like yes, and when my granddaughter grows up and look back on that, she can say my grandma is impartial. She didn't make no difference. You know, she didn't. Kelly don't feel like she got a tug, and that's one thing about us. With her other grandmother and us. Regardless if we be around each other all the time, we still communicate like we're family. So she don't have to be pulled to the black or to the Hispanic part of her family. That's important. It starts in the family. You
So
know,
do you think this young lady was failed in some kind of way?
that who failed?
That she was failed, this young lady? Do you think
Yes,
she
she
was
definitely was. She definitely was failed in some type of way, in many ways. And she actually mentioned it in that. She started to feel like, she was abandoning one more than the other. Why? Because the one was pulling her and then, dropping those books, no, this is what you are. You know what I'm saying? Look at your skin. I have one little niece that just came down from Oregon. She's biracial as well, black and white. And you'll see them I have posted them on one of my reels. Then her and Callie are dancing.
mm-hmm.
And she looked at Callie, she said, you're black and I'm white. Why did she say that? So it starts at home. We have to be responsible, for our youth. We have to be responsible for them because they are our future. So we want to make sure that we do all we can, what I'm saying, to incorporate positive things and impartiality in our children, whether they're biracial or not, that you're not of this race and you're not of that race, but you're of the human race, because that's what really matters. Because the creator of the whole universe, and he was impartial.
Mm-hmm.
He was impartial, and so that means that he wasn't prejudiced. He didn't lean to the darker or to the lighter tone, because really it was based on where you landed at, where your skin tone was. Okay, we if you really want to know, where I'm from, I'm from Egypt. You know what I'm saying? But they think I'm from Oregon, but we originate from Egypt. We originate all the way back. You know,
Wow.
it didn't matter, but there were so many Caucasians that came from there, and like I see a lot of Africans that come from France, and they look like they're black, but they speak. I'm in a biracial city, in Houston, Texas. You stand here next to people, and they look just like you, and then you won't understand a word they're saying. I don't
Really?
understand what they're saying. They're speaking a whole different language. Don't even know where they're from, but they look just like me. Now, how do you label that?
Yeah.
Where do I fit in?
Where do I fit in? Man, it's the same thing with our Mexicans. Some of them look just like us, and they be
Yes.
full blown Mexican, full blown, but they
Yep.
looking
Full
just
blown.
just like us. Standing there talking, they really talking, and be like, and they full blown
Full
Mexican.
blown. Some of them have afros.
I've seen that, sure have. Yeah, I've seen that.
So
And
it's
the
not
full,
about the way we look, and that's what it was based on. She was pulled by the way she looked. Since her skin was more pale, she didn't have a lot of melanin in her skin, so she was
mm-hmm,
pulled towards the white part of the family more so. And right, you know what I'm saying? They took more, and then but when she was over to the black, they said you black. You know what I'm saying? You're black, and then that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair because she's black and she's white.
yeah, she
You know, and that's but you want to teach them what society is going to do to them. So
yeah,
that's why you feel trapped and compelled to do that. You're like, I'm
yeah.
just letting you know that when you get in the real world, that this is what it's all about.
I know I did. I looked up the biracial marriages, and
Hmm.
it's a lot of biracial marriages that be destroyed behind the picking and the teasing, and some of them just buckle and just say, you know what, let's just separate whatever. Some of them do that, and it's
Right.
and that's heartbreaking because I guess it get to the point where they just say, look, we just can't I can't handle this no more.
Yeah,
Let's
they just get tired of fighting. They get tired of fighting. And my daughter Princess used to go out, and I didn't even know it until she told me. She said that she was stared at all the time. They had waiters come to the table. They catered to him before they catered to her. She was just out the other day, and they said, "Oh, that's such a beautiful little girl." Um, uh, who is her? You know, some about it. You know, insinuating that Princess wasn't her mom. That's where it was with my mother too. My mother was that way. They'd say, "Those are not your kids," because my mother was light skinned and all that long hair. Like black people don't have long hair, and we don't come in, yellow. We come in all flavors.
oh my
It
God.
doesn't matter how you look.
Exactly.
When you cut, we all bleed red. It's called the human race.
Exactly.
But the
Mm,
society, go back, is what is out there. It's even political. It goes deep.
yeah, you right about that.
Yeah,
About
it
that.
goes
You
deep.
right.
We hate to see it like that, but it's still there. Racism exists. And it's and putting it in the mind of a biracial child, making them, forcing them to choose one side over the other, it's like, that's got to be cruel.
Yeah, I think
That's got to be cruel. But there's
I think
help out there for those.
that's what happened to this girl. She was just being pulled in so many directions. She just didn't know what to go. And as
You
she
know,
got, I guess, when she got grown, she decided she gonna come right out and talk about it.
that's
She come
right.
out and
That's
talk
what
about
she
it.
did.
So what
And that's why this
encouraged?
young lady came out with that book at 27 years old, because she said, like, I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah,
Had me believing.
I gotta get that. I gotta get that.
Yes,
That
you got to. You
yeah,
got
I
to.
got
I stopped reading it because I want us to be on the same page when we go to
that
your book club with it. And
right.
we do it. And it's just amazing. That's why I keep showing it. This is not a paid promotion.
Right.
I want those to benefit. Just you see the caption that's in front here, ladies and gentlemen. The caption is there for a reason,
A
because
reason.
that's what Miss J Speak Talk Show podcast is all about. It's about empowering. It's about encouraging. It's about enlightening, informational, healing, truth.
That's right.
Nothing but truth.
That's it.
No
That's,
falsification here.
that's what it's all
Rather
about.
cut my
That's why.
tongue out my mouth before I tell
Yeah.
you a lie.
Woo, come on now. That's why
Okay?
that's why I have it up there, because I want people to understand it. That's exactly
Yes.
what this platform is about. That's
That's what it's
exact.
about.
It's
Yep.
tough. It's gonna be some more tough topics that's gonna be touched on, because we need to talk about it. And I know we talk about biracial. I know when people probably saw the flyer, there's some people out there that's dealing with it,
Oh,
afraid to
they are, I know they're all over that. I just feel it. You know what I'm saying? Because
say,
they're struggling.
yeah, but
They're
they didn't want to
struggling.
okay not to come forth and talk about what's going on and talk about your feel. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But but we always ask for guests, and if guests don't come forward, we still talk about the subject. We
That's
still have
right.
the conversation because we got to talk about it. We got
Yes.
to talk
That's what
about
it's out. We finna bring the truth out and say
it. Oh,
this information
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
opinions expressed on this show, she said, are for educational, informational purposes only, not intended for medical diagnosis or treatment. That's not what this is about. Please, Miss J
Exactly.
put this out there.
Mm-hmm,
Consult with your doctors. So
mm-hmm,
nobody's telling you not to, just take this on your own. We're not telling you that, we got all the answers. We're just putting it out there because we know we just found out about it. We shared it with you because we want to encourage you. We
mm-hmm.
want to empower you with what we just found. When I found it, I just want to share it. We want to enlighten you. We want to help you get to that healing point because nobody should feel like that young lady feel right there.
Exactly.
Nobody should feel
Exactly.
like that. I
Hold
don't
on
care
for a
what's
minute.
in your
Hold
life.
on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. I gotta remove myself right quick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all.
Well, Miss J is doing excellent job. She's not feeling well, and yet she still, you know, understands the responsibility of her show because the show must go on. She understands the responsibility of making sure that her viewers get the information that is needed for you know uh, whatever flyer she put out there about that topic. She's not reneging on it, and I truly appreciate it. And we appreciate you all's patience because she's really not feeling well, and she still wanted the show to go on so that she can, possibly that we can possibly help anyone that's going through these type of crises right now. And we know there's many people going through that struggles of feeling insecure, feeling don't know where they fit in, just feeling alienated, feeling alone, you know. And so you're not by yourself. They have groups, that you can join and talk with, of situations, just like any topic that we have on the show. Um, she's always going to plug you in somewhere where you can get, that professionalism background. But the information that we produce here is information we have gathered, and we want to share it with you all, and hoping that it benefits you and it help you have a better day, and give you some, to give you something, some hope, to meditate on. I just thought it was just really awesome. Where do I fit in? Had people say I'm too white to be black, and I'm too black to be white. To paint a clear picture, I have olive skin, fluctuates during summer and winter. It's been a lifelong and confusing issue from personal standpoint, society, and political correction. It's really a very disturbing situation. Are you feeling better, sis? Well, we don't want to hold you on here too much longer. I told you my sister is not doing well, but she is very obligated. She's very responsible. She wants to make sure that her word is her bond, that you get what she promised you, and you got it today. Even though she's not well, she knows her responsibility of a talk show host and podcast. And we just want to give her a hand, for just being here today and not feeling well. Okay? So we can't hear you. You're muted.
I said I appreciate you too. I'm sorry, but
No problem.
I had to step away a little bit again. But we're gonna end it now. You just gave some encouraging words to the viewers and, and those that come and watch the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Janet, do you think we need to go ahead on and let what next weekend's topic gonna be, or just wait?
Yeah, I think that you can kind of give them heads up so they can start getting themselves prepared and say, "Oh, well, I know what's coming next week," and get excited about it, because it might be something that you really don't want to miss, and
You want to
and
tell them?
then that way it helps people prepare their schedules, because everybody's working, moving around, going to school, holidays coming up, So it's a lot of things happening. And the sooner that they get that out there, the better they can, work it in their schedule. If it's
You want to tell them?
possible.
Tell them? You want to go
Go
and tell
ahead.
them?
Go ahead.
All right. So next Saturday episode is going to be. Hold on. Because I want to say the title right. That's why I'm doing this. Hold on, y'all.
And I know that all you women out there, or men, black or white, short or tall,
Exactly.
big or small, is going to appreciate this.
Hold on. Okay, here it is. The topic for next Saturday episode is You Are Enough.
That's right.
That's going to be the topic.
You are enough.
You
Black,
are
white.
You are enough.
Big or small.
It's gonna exactly. It's a whole. This is a whole. This got a whole upper. This is the umbrella for a lot of things.
Exactly.
But we want you to know the bottom line is gonna be and will be and should be. You are enough. That's gonna be for next Saturday.
And I look forward to it.
At 7:00 Eastern Standard Time on Miss J Speaks Talk Show and Podcast. And with that being said, we are getting ready to sound off. And I do apologize, because y'all know I don't usually step away like that, but I had to do it again. I apologize about that.
It's okay.
All right. Y'all have a good one. See y'all next Saturday. Now, it depends on how I'm feeling. I have my Take Care of Yourself Sunday segments every other Sunday. So I'm going to see how I'm feeling, If you don't see me come on tomorrow 4:00, that's what's wrong. Miss J still not feeling good. All right. Y'all
That's
have
right.
a good.
Make sure y'all follow on social media. Make sure that y'all like, share, and follow. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are she is streamed in many places. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good one.